anything that I have here, just let me know. Okay. I just have a few, well, I'll just, disclaimers up front here. A lot of people's interpretation of what retro is definitely varies, but we have a lot of older consoles that, kind of regardless of what age you grew up in, you should be able to relate to some of them or all of them. But I mean, every console here is about 15, 20 years old, so if you want one, if you want all of them, just let me know, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to start off with our good old-fashioned Wii. And again, if you buy anything from us, I'm not going to bring them out for this demonstration, but they have all the cables. So like the Wii here, it has a motion sensor, it's got all its cables in the back and everything. I'm just not bringing it out for our demonstration purposes. I actually believe, yeah. So this is a GameCube memory card here, and I have this because I have a GameCube here for sale. We'll get to that in a minute, but one of the things that a lot of people don't know about is a lot of the systems have, especially when it comes to Nintendo, they have a lot of compatibility. So like one of the things is that you could use your GameCube memory card in your Wii. And I believe the discs were I think they were compatible. I also do have the original stand to it. For that. So a lot of people, I believe this came out in 2008, 2007, maybe even 2006, but early 2000s. For a lot of people, this was one of their first consoles that they have. I know one of my friends, they were, back when we had Toys R Us, they waited outside overnight to get that on launch day. So definitely different times we're living in. We only charge about, I think the price tag on that's about $50. So it does run, and again, everything you see here runs. There's no issues with it. I mean, I'll use the Wii as the example here because it's white, and it kind of shows. I mean, you have to kind of like really look at it, but basically, these consoles are, again, they're 15, 20 years old, even older for some, and they are not brand new by any means. They have been used. So all our consoles do work. They're in perfect working order, no issues. We have everything to run them. The only thing would be, like on the Wii here, and again, you kind of have to really look. There's some scratches, but other than that, just some minor cosmetic stuff. Other than that, they all work perfectly fine. Yeah, they are tested. We just test them here. We don't go through them with a fine-tooth comb. Some people, they take them apart, and they blow them out, and unfortunately, usually we get so many coming in and then so many going out, we can't possibly do that. We do make sure they all work. We plug them in, run a game on them, make sure everything runs and is fine. But, like I said, they are older consoles, so there's going to be some dust and some cosmetic stuff with them. And if for some crazy, again, we do test them, but sometimes these consoles, they sit for a little while. So, like that, we could get it. We could get it on Monday and sell it on the very next day on Tuesday, or we could get it Monday and it could sit for 2 months. So if for whatever reason they don't work or there is any problems, just bring it right back in. We can either take a look at it and see what's going on with it. We can give you a refund. It's not a big deal at all. We have plenty of the consoles I have here today. We have plenty of all of them. So don't worry about it. Okay? Yeah, we can either do an exchange. I can get the one that you brought in working. Again, not an issue at all. I'm going to move down the line. The predecessor of the Wii that I just showed you, the GameCube. And again, I have variants for all of these, so you don't have to buy this one exactly, but there's a little bit of this one I'll probably take back and clean it up a little better. But we have all the panels on the bottom. Everything's in working order. Like I said, if you want, we have I have an original Nintendo GameCube, not a third party. This is an original Nintendo memory card. We do have that. I do not have, if you know anything about the GameCube, there's support down here that makes it so you have access to the internet, and then there's another port so you can play Game Boy games. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of Nintendo products have backwards compatible. So like the Wii has compatibility with the GameCube. The GameCube can play Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. You just need to buy a adapter. And we don't have any in stock, but there is even a screen that goes on top here so that you can just play right on your GameCube. We have plenty of games for the GameCube, if that's something you're interested. I just grabbed up a couple here. Super Smash Bros. Melee is probably one of my biggest ones when I think of the GameCube. A lot of good memories hanging out with the boys, playing some Smash Bros. Kirby is another big title. We have Kirby Air Ride here. This one's an absolute blast. Another fun one to, ride around, and if you like Kirby, you'll enjoy this game, trust me. And then I brought out the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. This one here, it has the original Legend of Zelda. I believe that was like early sometime in the 80s, I believe. We have Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask, all on one disc for the GameCube. So, although it says on here not for resale, so I don't know if this was meant to be played or sold, or I don't know, but again, great game. $40 price tag on there, so I don't know what that's going for nowadays. I'll have to quote you a different price probably, but I don't know. I have no idea what cover or what skin is on this, but if you're into, again, while we're talking about older consoles, I have an original DS from, I believe, 2008 or 2006, but this is an original DS. I mean, we could take the cover off if you don't like that, but I don't believe we have any games for it right now. But if you want the console, because maybe you have some games and yours broke, we do have a DS. I'll stick with handhelds for a minute. Again, these are older devices. A lot of the times, especially this is the Game Boy Advanced SP. A lot of the times these were, put in kids' pockets when they went around with their parents grocery shopping or whatever. So these were just put in their pockets with other things. So again, this has a lot of scratches. I'm not going to turn it on because I'm pretty sure it's pretty loud, but it does run. Just a lot of cosmetic. The screen's fine. There's actually no real scratches on the screen or anything. It's just little cosmetic wear here and there. If you want, we have plenty of Game Boy games here. We have Wario Land 4. This was... I enjoyed this game a lot. Just going around... I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but there was like 4 areas where you had to collect, I think they were based off of like elements or colors or something, and then you got to the final one, which was like a golden ball. I'm explaining that badly. If you buy the Game Boy Advanced, I'll throw this one in for free. It's a must experience, trust me. The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. This is another just classic. I remember playing this as a kid. I'm a huge Zelda fan, and I don't know, there's just something about just you go to temples, you go through the temples, the puzzles, and you fight the boss, and then you go to another. Like, there's something about the story in these kind of games. We do have, if you remember anything about the Game Boy Advanced, they had these movie cartridges. They were traditionally silver. This one here is for Dragon Ball GT. So you can actually watch TV shows on your Game Boy. That's pretty neat. And then we have Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, and Four Swords. Another classic. I remember A Link to the Past as a kid was definitely a challenging game. There's no doubt about that. I'm trying to remember, but there was like 8 temples. You had to do a couple of temples before you go into like the distortion world or whatever it was. And then once you're in, you have to do like another 8 temples. This was a long and hard game, but yeah, we have, what's this? Lego Star Wars. Got a lot of games here for you, if that's your sort of, again, like for me, this was the first handheld I had, so a lot of people, they remember as a kid running around playing on their Game Boy. And speaking of Game Boy, I have an original. Is there a year on this, actually? 1989. So this is our oldest console. It currently has Tetris in there. We do sell, there's an adapter. I forget where it goes now. I totally forget where it goes, but there's a little light that plugs into it, because at nighttime there's no background lighting. So at nighttime you need lights in the room to be able to see. So there's a little light that kind of hangs over so you can see. But our original Game Boy, and to be honest, it's actually in pretty decent condition for being, 30 years old. I do have a medley here of old Pokemon games, like the original Pokemon Red for the Game Boy. And then I believe it works, but I have a Game Boy Color. This one's Pokemon Crystal. I believe it'll work on the original, but next up, I'm going to take you back to one of the systems that I got started on, which was the Nintendo 64. It even has a Nintendo installation, maintenance, and service number on the back of it. In pretty good condition. With this, we do have a couple upgrades if you want to go that route. So here we have, let me unwrap it. So here we have the original N64 controller. Pretty sure I think I always played it yeah. So one of the features we have, it has the original, I believe this is original, a memory pack to it. But if you want to, we have an original Nintendo Rumble pack. I think this thing actually takes batteries, if I remember. Yeah. So this actually lets your controller rumble or vibrate. It does kind of stick out a little bit, but if you want that authentic experience, like you're back in the 90s playing this as a kid, I highly recommend the Rumble Pack. But we do have a few games for it. There's some big ones. We got Star Fox 64. It's a pretty big one. We got Kirby Crystal Shards, if you're into Kirby. Got the original Ocarina of Time. Absolute classic to play in the N64. And we have Majora's Mask. Now, I do have my little tool here. Majora's Mask, and I think there was a couple other games. They take up too much memory, so one of the things is you have a memory, I guess it's a memory card. Let's see if I can get this out here. Yeah, so this is an original Nintendo jumper pack. And if you want to play a game like Majora's Mask, you need this bad boy. This is the memory expansion pack, and I can sell you a tool. It's not a big deal, but we sell this with Majora's Mask. The other one, so it actually just goes right in there, and now you can play Majora's Mask. So I think that's where being at least a little knowledgeable about some of these older systems. Again, anyone can. You can go on eBay and just buy one, but again, if you had an N64 and you were trying to play Majora's Mask, that's something that I don't know if it says it on here or not. See, it doesn't even say that on here. So that's something that you just have to be aware of. But like I said, we sell the memory expansion pack. Like I said, we just try to help our customers out, because at the end of the day, you're here because you want to either experience a childhood you never had. Maybe you played the GameCube, but you never played the 64. So you want to experience something that was maybe before your time. Or traditionally, you're trying to relive your childhood. I don't have any, but I grew up on a PS2, and I would love to get one in and play it myself again, because I still have all my original games. We had 2 of them in my family, and I think we gave one to a friend and the other one broke. So even me, I would love to go back, play some ATV Off-Road Fury 2 on the PS2, but again, we don't have one. So if there's anything here you have questions about, whatever, feel free to let me know. If you want, because again, I know ordering off of eBay can sometimes be a little sketchy, and you might not want to do that. What I can do is, if you have something that you want that I didn't show you here, just let me know. I can order it, and then because something like that, if I'm ordering it off of eBay or ordering it from another company or something like that, I will take it apart and just make sure everything works before I sell it to you. That way it gives you a little bit of assurance, because like I said, you can buy a 64 off of eBay for $100. You get it and it doesn't work, and then you're kind of, what do you do? So if you go through me on a console that you want, I can make sure it works before it gets sold to you. So with all that, like I said, if there's anything you see or anything you want, I'm happy to bag it up and get you going. I appreciate you coming out today and taking a look at our store here, and I will see you next time. Peace.